Hello and welcome to Sports Counsel, your playbook for all things sports. I'm your host Matt, and I'm here with G and Vivek for this episode of the show. The 2026 NBA Finals is finally set. It will be the New York Knicks facing off against the San Antonio Spurs. We preview the final series of the season, breaking down matchups, key players to watch for, and our final predictions for who wins it all. Today is May 31st, 2026, and this is episode 214 of the show.
What's up, fellas? Good to see you, Viv.
Yeah, glad to be back and talking basketball again. I'm really excited for these finals, and it's been a great playoff run so far. Probably some of the best playoffs I've seen in a while, besides 2022, obviously.
Oh yeah, besides 2022. But yeah, I mean, first of all, welcome back. Yeah, Viv, I think the last time you were on may have been the last finals episode we did. So
I think so.
Full circle.
And this time
Our finals
OKC
expert.
isn't in the finals, so I'm happy about that.
Very much happy about that. I mean, you guys watched that game 7, right? I think I watched the whole thing front and back. Oh man. I mean, I know I was the one who predicted OKC to win it all. I was the one who's been picking OKC the whole time. Guys, I hated every minute of it. Sometimes, I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Sometimes, I pick teams that I don't want to win just to jinx them a little bit. Just a little bit. So, that was kind of what I was. And I picked OKC in 7 and I could not be happier that they are gone.
Now you're probably the happiest.
Dude, if you saw the group chat that we have, I've been saying some pretty terrible things that could never be said in public about OKC. And I was not the only one.
I definitely would not be saying the things you said in that chat.
I can echo that at least. I mean, those entire time I was watching Game 7, I was just looking for Chet, and he just wasn't anywhere to be found. He completely disappeared. I knew the second that game ended, I was like, okay, he's going to get generational slander. And yeah, I mean, it's coming at him heavy right now. You're getting paid that much money and you're really shying away at that moment. It's just not a good look against Wemby.
Yeah, I mean, they started the whole preview off. Like, I started watching from like 5 p.m. or whatever, and then they were like, you know, who has to have a big game? And it was supposed to be Chet, right? Like, Chet's the guy. Like, you paid him a lot of money. SGA will do his thing. J-Dub's out. AJ Mitchell's out. So who's going to be the second guy, right? It has to be Chet. And to not even really try, like, that's the biggest thing. Like, you can shoot 1 for 10, and you could get slandered for it. But at least you tried to shoot. It's game 7. You win, you go to the NBA Finals. And it was, like a 6-point game at the end of it? If you just shot more shots, it just felt like he was scared. Like, did you guys all saw that sequence now, right? Like,
where he gets the ball, he takes a jab step, passes away, and then he just guts the ball, takes the dribble, falls on his ass. It wasn't a good look, no, not at all.
Yeah, you could tell right there. He was like, oh, that boy's scared. You know that, like, it's not anything of anything else. It's like, he's just scared. It's like, you can't be scared. You can't be a championship team and have a scared second option. Like, at least try. At least try to win. He wasn't doing anything.
At least try to win. Literally, at least try to win. Oh, yeah. Man.
I do want to understand a little bit. Like, we do a lot of hate for OKC, and I think basically the entire NBA public hates OKC. Do you feel like it was worse than Golden State back then? Like, I feel like it was worse considering they've had less success than Golden State.
I think
the hate's more.
Yeah. I think with the Golden State, it was more envious of like the talent and how good they were and how much they were winning. I think with the Thunder, it's like pure like, this is disgusting. I don't like it. You know what I mean?
I think it's like the double standard, right? Like, what I hate the most, I mean, personally, about OKC is the fact that it feels like they have a double standard where they exaggerate contact a lot on offense. They flop. They kind of try to sell everything that they can, even though they're really good. Like, Shea was hitting shots yesterday that were just unfathomable. Like, they're ridiculously talented mid-range shots. But he still tries to do all this exaggerated content. He had that one where he was twisting his body for a 3-point shot. And like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, You're good
Where the guy
enough.
jumped
You don't have
past
to
him,
do
and then
that.
he jumps into the same direction. Like there's an open shot that he like, passes up to jump into him. That was a good one.
Yeah, it's just I didn't like that. Like, and then they get away with basically everything on defense, where like Caruso gets like I see once every game Caruso gets to maul a guy on the perimeter, and then he straight up just like dives for him, and then he gets the ball, and they don't call it. Or Lou Dort dives on everybody. So that's the kind of double standard that I didn't really like of OKC. Like, I'm sure the Warriors had their issues. I won't pretend to not be biased about that, but I think OKC is
Yeah,
basically
not
like
to throw
every time I was
punches
a
at
golden child. Yeah.
OKC too. Yeah, not to throw punches, but I mean the Warriors have had their issues in the past when it comes to player management on the court or notably off the court. But I don't want to throw stones from a glass house, but I think I agree with you guys. The reason why the Warriors got away with it a little bit more was because of the envy and the admiration of how the Warriors played basketball. Because especially before KD came, in the eyes of the public, the Warriors played a beautiful brand of basketball, kind of inspired by the Spurs. You know, you have Splash Brothers, you have a lot of players who are just very capable of passing and shooting. And I think that it's really inspired the NBA, obviously. And it was really revolutionary for the time for that style to come up. Whereas with OKC, a lot of their calling card comes from the press defense that they play, where they just kind of have multiple guys really press up against you and just play a really physical style of defense. I mean, you have Dort, you have Caruso, you got Hardenstein, who's also someone that kind of gets under people's skin. And I mean, you have Case and Wallace too. I mean, those guys just wreak havoc defensively, and it's just not, I guess, the most fun style of, I guess,
Hmm.
team play, especially when you have Shea on the other hand. You know, he's such a talented mid-range shooter, and it's like he's just basically able to get any shot. It feels like from mid-range, but he does resort to like the tactics of flopping and then getting to the line, and a lot of his game is indeed predicated on that too. So I think there is definitely a huge stylistic difference that the OKC brand of basketball isn't the most fun to watch compared to the Warriors.
He got like 11 free throws last game. Steph
I mean,
never
come
gets that
on.
many free throws. That's the difference. Like I know they're good. I know Shea's good. The rest, they're different levels of good. But I know the Golden State Warriors were very good, and they were all very, very talented. But they didn't have to rely on free throws and questionable defense in order to win games. Like I just feel like OKC, they kind of just play the refs more than they play the game sometimes. And that's why I don't like them. Yeah. But enough of the OKC hate for now. They're gone. They're vanquished. Peace and order is restored to the galaxy.
Sent back to Oklahoma. Stay there.
Those fans, those poor fans, they have to walk out of the arena and they're going to be like, oh, fuck, we still live in Oklahoma. Back to the rest of the next 8 months in Oklahoma.
Back to the farm. Back to the barn.
But this is our NBA Finals preview episode. This is Sports Counsel. And G, where can the people find Sports Counsel?
Yes, I would love to tell the people. So what you're going to do is go to your favorite social media platform, Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. You are on every platform now, and you're going to search up for sports_counsel. It's 2 words, 1 underscore. Couldn't be easier. Go ahead and follow. And in the link of the bio, there will be a Discord link. Go ahead and join. It's also free to join. Come talk to us, react to the games, especially with all the crazy things I feel like that are going to happen this final. So you don't want to miss it. It's all free. Make sure you go follow sports_counsel on every single social media platform. It's going to be that easy. Right, Matt?
Yep. It is a good time to be a part of Sports Counsel. Guess what, guys? We've been teasing it for a little bit now, but our t-shirts have finally arrived, and they look amazing. They look just like we imagined it. And it's been a very long time in the making.
Join the council, man.
One,
get a shirt.
Yeah. If you bought one, they're coming soon. Bless up. Rep the brand. They are very nice shirts. I can attest to it myself.
Are you just saying that?
What do you mean? Can't the podcast host, he doesn't like his shirt? That'd be crazy.
No. Yeah.
Well, oh, no, it's
with
very
that being said, yeah.
It's like silk.
Yeah,
on
Matt
your
sleeps in it.
Yeah, I sleep in it every night. I literally look at a box of all the shirts every night.
Hey,
Not on purpose.
he uses them as a blanket.
Yeah,
Puts them all
I
over
would.
himself.
They're so comfortable.
All right,
But
I
back
think the
to the-
most important shirt though is who's gonna wear that 2026 NBA championship shirt.
Wow, good segue. Lovely
That's
segue.
what you pay me the big bucks for. At least that's
Yeah.
what I'm about to demand next negotiation cycle. But anyway,
You
let's
can have
get
a
right
t-shirt.
into it, shall we?
Okay, well, 2026 NBA Finals, New York Knicks, San Antonio Spurs. This is a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals when we were just wee little babies. I don't even know if I was like a year old yet, but technically it is a rematch, but this is two teams that have not been in this final spotlight in a very long time. Let's start off with the New York Knicks here. They had a regular season record of 53-29, third seed in the East. The story of the playoffs for them is that they just have straight up dominated. They had some trouble early on in the first round against the Atlanta Hawks. They went down 2-1 in series, and then they've proceeded basically to win the next 8 playoff games, and they're still on that streak. They beat the Hawks 3 more times actually to close out them in 6. Then they went against the 7 seed Sixers, swept them, blew them out in their final game, went to the Cavs Eastern Conference Finals, blew them out. So now they're actually on an 11-game playoff winning streak. They've obliterated every closeout game. They've won, I think, 6 games on the road, 6 or 7 games on the road in the playoffs. Their bench has the highest plus minus in the playoffs, and they've just looked like the most dominant team right now. There have been talks that they've rivaled the Golden State Warriors run back in 2017. I don't think that's accurate.
I think analytically and statistically, point differential, there's a lot of blowout stats. They actually are better, quote unquote.
Yeah.
If you watch your games, it's not the same. You're playing the West, it's the East. You're playing the Hawks and the weak ass 76ers, but it's a different conversation. But the numbers are the numbers, right? They've been killing these teams.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with G more. Did you hear Kenny Atkinson talk about how analytically the Cavs thought they were the better team? It's ironic because analytically the Knicks have had an incredible postseason run so far, maybe even close to all time in terms of the metrics, the plus minus, just the offensive rating, the defensive rating. I mean, yeah, it's the East, and I wouldn't necessarily call the Hawks, Sixers, and Cavs fearsome teams, in my opinion.
They're awful. They're all ass.
But I mean, the playoffs is the playoffs. You only play who's in front of you, and you got to give them credit where credit's due. I think that the whole roster from top down is just playing amazing basketball. Mike Brown's had some amazing coaching adjustments. I think Cat in particular is playing some of the best basketball of his career. I think he's been honestly a top 3 playoff performer. I think that what he's done in particular is fantastic, and we can touch on that more, but I really want to give the Knicks a lot of credit this postseason because they've had a kind of a tumultuous, a little rocky up and down regular season, even though they were the 3rd seed, but I think they really are firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah. The only sad thing about this is that, this is the NBA Finals preview, and Dylan could not unfortunately make it to this episode. But I know Knicks are basically his second team in his heart. I know he would have been so passionate to be on this episode. I know he's already rooting for them, and he'll be alongside the New York Baddies on the court side, probably there. Yeah.
He's next to Sunil Lee, of course.
Oh, he wishes. I don't think the restraining order will let that happen, though.
Oh, man. Sad as Dylan, though. Me and Dylan actually, if Matt had listened to us, went perfect in the conference finals, Did not mention that at all. I called the Knicks in 4.
I told you
I called the Knicks
in
in 4. No, that's not fair. Make it sound easy. But we predicted the Spurs Knicks from the start as well.
Yes. Gee, you predicted it all the way in the beginning of the
beginning of the playoffs.
Postseason. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean,
That's
let's
impressive.
move on to... Yeah, I think there's a Twitter account who's done the exact playoff picture, and they picked every single one so far. It's Charles Bassey Muse, I think. Shout out.
Shout out to them, man.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the San Antonio Spurs now. On the other side, the victors of the last Western Conference Finals, the Spurs have had a losing record for the last 6 years. This is not kind of the Popovich, Duncan, Kawhi Leonard Spurs of old. They were struggling for a little bit. They basically averaged 26 wins over their last 3 seasons, and then all of a sudden, they've kind of exploded into the 60-win team that's the second seed in the West. And that's really thanks in part to being able to get these top 5 picks out of those terrible seasons where they drafted Victor Wembanyama, 1st overall, Stephon Castle, I believe, 4th overall, and, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Harper, 2nd overall.
This year.
Dylan Harper. God damn, I was thinking Ron.
Ron Harper. That's actually funny enough you bring him up because he played on the Knicks when they lost in '99 to the Spurs.
Yeah, so full circle. Wemby, we always knew he was a generational talent, 7'4", just complete alien, defensive player of the year reigning, and probably for years to come. First playoff run is the finals. He beats the Blazers in 5, he beats the Timberwolves in 6, and then, the most impressive of them all, he knocks off the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder in 7, the team that hadn't even lost a playoff game all postseason. They lost 8 times to the San Antonio Spurs this year. So
8? I thought it was more than that. I thought it was 9 because they lost 4. Oh, no, yeah, they played them. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you're right.
So, impressive. Very, very impressive. They have a trio of guards right now in De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle. Oh my God. Why do I keep
Harper.
on? Oh my
Dylan
God.
Harper.
Why am I doing that?
Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox.
Dylan Harper. I gotta type it down. Dylan Harper. Why do I keep doing that? It's a choke moment for me.
It's insane. It's so funny because when you watch Dylan Harper, I feel like right now his game looks just like De'Aaron Fox's too, and it's like insane. Because he looks so experienced for a rookie. You don't even tell he is a rookie. The moment's not like too big or anything of that, and that goes for all of them. This is everybody's first postseason run for the most part, right? Besides the man, the myth, Harrison Barnes,
Black Falcon.
Hey man, you forgot De'Aaron Fox in his 1 playoff series of experience.
Yeah, 1 playoff series. But I think it's interesting, if you look at the guard matchups this series, I think that's obviously going to be the most important. Who's going to be on Brunson and, how many different guys they can throw at him, right? Even if you're talking about off the bench, besides Dylan Harper, you have Carter Bryant. I feel like he's going to be a great defender on him. He's going to be physical with them. And, they have Vassell still. They have Champagnie. These guys will all be able to rotate, take turns guarding Brunson. And that's going to be hard for, I feel like, Brunson to really cook the way he was cooking the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think Brunson, in the Eastern Conference Finals, the game plan was very obvious, right? Just attack James Harden the entire time. Attack him on defense, tire him out. Yeah. That was just pick and roll on him. They can't do that with the guys that they have right now in the Spurs. All those guys are very good defensively. I assume they're going to start Brunson with Castle and kind of I wonder what the first strategy will be for Mitch Johnson, right? He with Shea at the beginning of the series, they were double teaming him a lot, and then he really just kind of broke that and was able to kind of succeed. They went up 2-1 on that, and then they switched the game plan to basically, let's just play physical on him, let's just play him one-on-one with Castle, and then they kind of mix it up sometimes to confuse him, give him different looks. But these guys, they've aged really fast in the playoffs. I was obviously my biggest worry this entire time has been, are they experienced enough? And you have never wavered from the fact, G, that they're talented enough.
Better,
they can win
they're
this
better,
stuff.
They're good.
Yeah. I know that there's some struggles, right? They had some struggles early on. Castle was turning the ball over a ridiculous amount, I think, in the first 2 games, but they locked in.
Without De'Aaron Fox, it was tough for him to be the primary ball handler. I think the veteran kind of played in the playoffs, played many years in the league. De'Aaron Fox having the ball in his hand as the primary guy, it works out better for Castle, and he can kind of play a little off ball and not have to be fully reliant to start the offense from.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the biggest question of these finals? Let's start off with that.
These finals, the biggest question is going to be Karl Anthony Towns. Is he going to be able to stay on the court without the foul trouble? I feel like, that's always been his kind of, why do you flailing and hitting guys, especially when he gets frustrated. If Wembanyama's guarding him all game, he's been, I feel like, the biggest key for this the Knicks run is his way he's been playing this year. He's been in the assist, his racking them. He's had the ball in his hand, and he's been able to facilitate, stay on the court, shoot. He's been kind of that dominant, all around center that we, always thought he was. But in the playoffs, he seems like he always got himself foul trouble, and that's kind of been his Achilles heel. I think that'll come back to bite, especially with Wemby kind of attacking him and going at him the same way he was kind of attacking Chet and Hartenstein. Like, you just keep going at him relentlessly. And I just don't see how Cat doesn't get him turned back into old Cat and just start fouling him. And then you're going to have Mitchell Robinson out there. And yeah, I think that's just, he's coming off like a finger surgery nonetheless too, I think, or something like that. So
yeah, what happened?
It's gonna,
man.
Yeah.
Injured pinky.
Yeah.
Cut that shit off. Just go out there. Ronnie Lott that.
But yeah, that's where they're at with it. I just think that's pretty concerning.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think that the big question of this series will be, obviously, Wembanyama is a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to just paint defense. And what you notice in the OKC series is that you have to really defeat them from beyond the arc with their lead guard. So Shea is capable of, he wants to get to the paint. He wants to go for his mid-range shots. Wemby's really good at defending the area in the paint, but he's also kind of able to ghost and kind of like drop and attack and close out near the mid-range as well. So the really big counter for that would he be able to master the pull-up three? And Shea can make pull-up threes, but that's not really his game. But Brunson is able to punish and make those threes and kind of keep the defense honest. And so what I'm looking for specifically is, given that Wemby is basically going to close out the entire paint, can the Knicks make enough outside shots to the point where they're able to force Wemby to start closing out and approaching the perimeter? And if Wemby is outside of the paint, are they then able to like use their speed and craftiness to be able to attack the paint and then try to like get more shots around the rim? Because the Knicks, what they've done this entire postseason run is that they've been able to just basically make a lot more shots around the paint and around the rim by layups and dunks and all of that. But obviously Wemby kind of counters that. But what the Knicks do have is that they do have really good shooting across the board. And so if they're able to do that, then I can easily see them getting stretched out.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention previously, obviously these teams have met in the regular season 3 times. Knicks won that series 2-1, including in the in-season tournament. The Knicks beat the Spurs. So this is actually a rematch of the in-season tournament.
I think that matters, though, because I think the Spurs still think about, like, damn, we should have won that game. So I think they're going to kind of hold that same, kind of like that thing where I feel like Wemby's got that mentality of Brady or Jordan. I don't want to compare him to that level of goatness, but like where it's like those small little things that like, maybe it's like the MVP, or if it's like the, in-season trophy, like he wants every accomplishment. And knowing that the Knicks were the ones to take that from him too, like I think they're all kind of like, yeah, we're going to get him where it matters,
Yeah, the great ones always have that kind of extra edge. They, make grudges after every little thing, like every little slight. So he just absolutely hates Chet Holmgren for no apparent reason.
It just works.
Yeah.
I think everyone's going to play with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, these are two teams that have been out of the finals historically in deep playoff relevance for a while. And I mean, in my opinion, at least, and maybe in the eyes of many other NBA fans, I mean, health permitting, the Spurs, I mean, they're way ahead of schedule, but I do see a lot of deep postseason success for them in the future. For the Knicks, I think this is probably it. I mean, their core is expensive. It's pretty, like, I don't know, tail end of prime, like late 20s, early 30s. I don't really see that the Knicks have a lot more deep postseason runs in that.
I don't know. The East is still ass, bro. The East is still going to be ass next year. It's not getting better. Giannis is leaving, if anything. Most likely it will go to the West, and dude, they could easily be the best team again next year. I mean, longevity, they're not the Spurs or the Thunder, but I think they could dominate the East. Like, there's nobody that I'm looking at it like on paper that are better than the Knicks going into next year. I know it's a different conversation,
possible, but I think that with Tatum back, or for example, I mean, for a full season, and then like depending on how Halliburton comes back as well. I'm not sure exactly of the timeline, but that should be sometime next season. But the
Yeah.
point is that like it's not easy to make the finals, and you don't really have like that one, big time player like Wemby on the Knicks. No offense to Brunson, that can like guarantee you that deep postseason success. I mean, when a team kind of fires on all cylinders, like that's kind of catching lightning in a bottle. I mean, we saw that with the Pacers last year, where obviously, yeah, Halliburton was kind of like the head of the whole team, but like it's really rare to capture like the synergistic moment where everyone's just playing on fire. And I don't really know if the Knicks are able to like, do this again for another postseason, especially given like the age, the expensiveness of the roster, the injury history,
Hmm.
and so on and so forth. So I think the Knicks have a lot more to lose. The Spurs are kind of playing on house money a little bit. I mean, this is their first deep postseason run, right? Wemby's first postseason run ending up in the finals is really crazy.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Vivek. I think this is basically more to come. This could just be the start of the next 20 years of Wemby dominance. Like the kid's only like what, 21, 22, something like that. So, I mean, that's why I'm a little bit more leaning towards the Knicks, rooting for the Knicks, because I also agree that, this might be it for them. This might be their best shot. Back to, what we were talking about with Wemby and defending him. Like the Knicks, they posted a 123.3 offensive efficiency in those matchups against the Spurs. Basically, they torched them. Like I think they conceded more points per possession to the Knicks than any opponent in the NBA. And that's actually pretty promising, I think, if you're the Knicks, because you were able to score on these guys with Wemby. And I think the key to that is that Wemby's going to want to stay in the paint, right? He's going to want to stay in the paint. They're going to have to find a way to get him out of the paint. They either get him out of the paint with, pick and rolls and switches, or Wemby's just going to put himself on a non-shooter, which they believe is a non-shooter, and then they just have to shoot the crap out of it, right? So I think last time they were matched up, I think Wemby was on Josh Hart, because out of all the players, I think they basically deemed him as the least, non-shooter. So he might be the key to the series if he can shoot from deep and make Wemby draw him out, or if Cat can actually punish any of the smaller guys that are probably going to be on him. I think those are the keys right now for the Knicks to be able to attack the Spurs. But I mean, switching it back to Brunson and the Knicks offense, like if you're the Spurs, you just play them straight up. Like, let's play a little bit of matchups right here. Like, our starting lineups are probably going to be Brunson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, and Cat versus Fox, Castle, Vassell, Champagny, and Wemby, right? Like, how would you match those up?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about from the Spurs perspective, obviously Wemby's gonna be kind of on Cat. I would let him kind of just isolate him off the court, right? Because he's on him. I think that's gonna be hard for Cat to get it going. And then I don't mind who I'm gonna be starting the game off on Brunson, because it's gonna be a rotation. You're going to have Fox guard him. You're going to have Harper guard him. You're going to have Castle guard him. Vassell, like, they're all going to take turns. Like I mentioned earlier, Carter Bryant. So, I wouldn't do like more than a few plays. And if he starts getting hot, I'd start starting a double too. I wouldn't be afraid to even maybe start the game off with that. Because the last thing you want to do is let Brunson beat you, right? I know Anunoby's been kind of hot. He gets a lot of open threes out of the Brunson kind of doubles. I feel like he gets like the primary kind of open 3-pointer shot. But man, I'd love to see Josh Hart drop 8 threes again or whatever crazy thing he was doing to beat the Knicks. You can do that again, man. I'll live with that. But for me, it doesn't matter who starts. It's just going to be a rotation, and maybe the guy with the most energy just attacks Brunson, right? So someone's always working Brunson.
That's the thing. It's so hard because I've always not believed in the Knicks because I know Brunson's going to get his, but I don't trust Cat. I don't trust Bridges. I didn't trust Anunoby to consistently give you 10 to 15 or 20, right? But they've basically proved me wrong throughout the stretch. Like, Bridges is actually lighting it up. Cat is playing his most efficient ball yet. He's, following basically everything we've been yelling him about on the podcast for like the last couple years. He's actually doing stuff. And Anunoby, he's playing like Sooney Lee's on courtside basically every single game. Like, they've been on an offensive tear. They've been doing everything that they want. So I think if you're the Spurs, you can't just say, okay, let's double team Brunson. Let's do the Shea strategy from like the last series, because they've been cooking. Like, obviously, I think the focus is on Brunson, but you have to basically play the other guys straight up. You can't just sag off them, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that as well. You don't want to sag off. Any of these guys can really get hot. So you really kind of try to play straight up as well as you can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Bridges and Anunoby, I mean, they've been playing incredible two-way basketball. I mean, even Cat as well, like a little bit more disciplined with the fouls, and then he basically turned into an offensive hub. Like, he's looking to pass a lot more and kind of like using his shooting ability and threat to draw defenders towards the three-point arc and then make passes deep inside the paint and just get people nice looks. That's been a really nice change to see for him, kind of expanding his offensive game and becoming a lot more efficient rather than just, jacking up shots more so. And Hart has been a revelation too. I think that actually what I would do is that I'd probably start Landry Shamet, but then have
No
Hart basically
fucking
play
way,
a
bro.
lot of minutes
No
off the
fucking
bench.
way. No way you
Because
just fucking said that. No, bro.
You can't
No
have a
fucking-
non-shooter. You can't
Bro,
have a
Josh
non-shooter.
Hart, no. Dude, Josh Hart does too much for them. He's like their best rebounder.
I mean,
against this team,
the
you're going to
first
need him too.
The first 5 or 6 minutes, I mean, he's going to be playing basically as many minutes as all of the starters, but I think Hart really shines in like, the bench minutes, and then he's able to kind of play more freely over there.
Nah, I gotta stay. I don't know about that one. I think you have to start
Because
Hart.
if you
I
put
think he's too
Wemby,
crucial.
yeah, but if you put Wemby, I mean, I think Mike Brown's going to switch it up, but I don't think that like you can't really take off Brunson, you can't take off Bridges, you can't take off Anunoby.
No, I mean Matt's
think
right. With
Mitchell-
the starting five that he mentioned earlier, that's going to be the starting five. I don't think that should be even in question.
But I think that what Viv means is that I think what they're going to do is that Hart is going to stay out there first. If that doesn't work and he can't prove to get Wemby out of the paint, because I think they're going to put Wemby on Hart. I think they want to keep him out. And Cat, if they put Wemby on Cat's just going to stay out there on the perimeter, and then everyone's just going to drive. So I think they're going to do Wemby on Hart and see if he makes him pay. Because that will just allow Wemby to basically stay in the perimeter. I don't give a fuck
safety,
where Hart is. Yeah. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they tried that strategy. Kenny Atkinson tried that strategy in the Cleveland series, and I mean, Hart made them dearly pay for that as well.
But that was like one game, yeah. But they also, Wemby could, in theory, get a contest off on Hart, even if he's like sagged off a bit, right? Like, it's Wemby, and it's not Mobley or Jared Allen. I think it's different.
Yeah, I mean, either way, they're all going to be playing heavy minutes. I mean, the Knicks rotation, like, they do a really good job at, like, getting, like, their main guys a lot of playing time as well. I think Mitch Robinson, like, foul trouble-wise, will also see a good amount of time because he's a big body that they can throw on Wemby to kind of make things a little bit more difficult. And I think that Anunoby is going to be, matching up against Wemby a good amount as well.
Yeah, it's Bridges and Anunoby, and I think the biggest thing is like how you're gonna guard Bridges and Anunoby. Like, they're doing well, and I mean, I don't know, like what Vassell, Champagny, like they're all very good defenders, but I just wonder if they can stop the Knicks right now. And the Knicks bench right now, that's the difference between Thibodeau and Mike Brown. So Mike Brown actually uses his bench, and they're actually doing well, right? So you got Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, Mitchell Robinson. Like, all these guys are coming off the bench, highest plus minus in the playoffs so far. And that might be the difference, because you get the other guys healthy, they're resting, and you're not playing them 40 minutes a game, and the bench is actually contributing, they feel confident. Like, would you take the Spurs bench, or would you take the Knicks bench right now?
I would. I feel like I like the Spurs bench still. I feel like they just had played like, and this kind of goes for even the starting fives. I just feel like they're played more meaningful, kind of harder, impactful minutes, however you want to look at it. Like their matchup against the Thunder, I feel like has, in a sense, like tuned them much better than the Knicks have been tested so far,
Yeah.
right? Like I think it's like what happens if the Spurs win game one, and then you're kind of rusty off of almost a week's worth of rest. They're just played. They're going to be at home. Then San Antonio's going to be cracking. So it's like what happens if they win game one? Like how you haven't lost in a month. Like you've been playing absolute shit teams that have just kind of bent over and just kind of let you kind of do whatever you want with them in that sense, right? So I think it's weird.
It's a descriptive image.
Yeah, exactly. But if the Knicks win game one, I think they're in the driver's seat, right? Like that's where they kind of feel more comfortable. But I think the Spurs can get them early, and it's going to kind of be a surprise, I guess you could say, for the Knicks. They're going to be like haven't lost in a month, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, one last thing about this matchup. Like, so let's flip it. How do the Knicks defend the Spurs in this case? How do you even defend Wemby? Like, are you just going to put Cat on him? Are you putting Mitchell Robinson? Like, are you doubling him? Are you trying to get it out of his hands? Like,
maybe I would think about eventually getting Cat and Mitchell Robinson out there at the same time if that's possible.
mm-hmm.
You kind of have like a situation where Mitchell Robinson's on him as his main defender, and then Cat's trying to come play some help defense in the paint if it gets to that or something like that. It's hard because each of them kind of can't guard Wemby in a certain area, right? So Cat can't really guard him in the paint. I feel like Mitch can't guard him in the perimeter, so
yeah,
it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, I'm thinking more so about how do you stop Fox, Harper, Castle from driving in the paint. I think that's a really key part of the Spurs
They can't.
offense.
Mitchell Robinson's got to do so much for them, and I feel like it's gonna be so hard because it's like offensively you could just foul him, and it's like you can't shoot free throws. You have the broken hand already, or finger or something. Like you can't shoot free throws, so it's like you can't be out there for too long, right?
I guess the idea is that if you have Bridges and OG, they're able to like use their range, at least in the perimeter, enough to slow them down. You kind of have to defeat them from that point onward. I also think as well that like, at least for the Knicks, right? Like you have to kind of, what the Spurs really like to do is kind of play at their own pace. Like they just know that they have a lot of great talent and they play to that talent strength, which is a really positive thing. Like one of OKC's biggest mistakes is that they waited too long to get into a set offense and play half court. But that's exactly where the Spurs would thrive on defense because you have Victor at the rim, right? But I think that if you're really able to sort of push the pace and not let Victor get set on defense, like the Knicks do have a chance on offense to like get more easy points.
Yeah, I would put the guards. I'd put Bridges and Anunoby on Castle and Fox, and then I'd put Cat probably on Wemby, and then you gotta hide Brunson somewhere, right? You gotta just basically like put him on Vassell or Champagny, and just try to contest all the threes, because I think the Spurs plan is just let's attack Brunson as much as we can, tire him out on both sides. And so Brunson's going to be the biggest vulnerability on that defense. I think the Spurs, the only way they don't get stopped on offense is when, like, the biggest thing I saw was one, turnovers. They turn the ball over a lot. The second one is that Wemby sometimes is not as aggressive as he should be when you're a 7-foot demigod, right? Like sometimes it just feels like he takes a shot where he doesn't think about it too much. He's just like, oh, I'm just going to pull up just because I can, because I'm really tall. And there are a lot of those threes in that OKC game where it's like, yeah, you can make them, but you're not in rhythm, right? You're not in rhythm. You're kind of off right now. And sometimes he has a lack of aggression. Like he isn't as consistent of an alpha scoring threat as he should be. And that's fine. It's his third year. I get it. But I think that, he has to stay constantly involved. He can't get into any foul trouble. He can't be off a little bit, right? And then those Luke Cornett minutes when Victor is out, because sometimes I did see him laboring a little bit because he was tired. He's, again,
he
really
doesn't play
tall.
this many minutes.
Yeah, he doesn't play this many minutes. So you got to really attack those Luke Cornett minutes as well. Like, I know he had that amazing, basically series-defining block against OKC, but for the most part, I would much rather play against Luke Cornett than Wembanyama. So I would attack that.
I have a question for you guys though. Like, if you're looking at it from the Knicks perspective, how are you kind of how to hide Brunson, right? Don't you feel like eventually one of those guards can really just get to him, whether that's Harper? Like, if you run a lineup of Harper, Fox, and Castle, and let's say Champagny slash Vessel at the 4, and then Wembanyama, like that's your 5. One of those 3 guards is gonna be able to attack Jalen Brunson, right? Like, or even adding the four guard lineup they have. Brunson can't just hide. I feel like there's gonna be. We talk about Cat getting kind of exposed by Wembanyama, but I feel like Brunson, these guys are going to go right at him.
I think they're just going to blow by him, but you just have to have a good amount of help right behind.
Yeah.
Like, you're just
There's only so much help you can have because these Spurs guys can shoot too, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like if, one of you guys kicks in and someone jumps in to help, like they can't kick it out and hit the 3. So I feel like it's matchup-wise, like, yes, in the regular season, the Knicks did play well, but I think this is not spelling well out for the Knicks here.
I mean, I think that I would be okay with living with the Fox 3 or like a Castle 3. Like, it's not ideal per se, but it's better than them just driving into paint. So,
well, they're going to be the ones driving in, right? So it's like kind of hard, right? I feel like they're going to be kicking.
I mean, Harper too. Harper's not exactly the best 3-point shooter yet. I mean, all those 3 guys you mentioned are just incredible at driving to the rim. You can probably assume that they'll blow by Brunson, and that's probably given because they'll blow by most defenders in the NBA. But that's where you'd have to just rely on your back line and your wings to kind of pick up the pace and pick up the slack. And I guess that's kind of been the story of what the Knicks roster construction is. They've done a really good job of constructing around Jalen Brunson's weaknesses. But yes, they are weaknesses and they will be exposed. And that's the open secret. Everyone knows it. So I'm curious about how they're going to cover for that, but it is going to be a team effort because assume that Jalen Brunson is just going to be a turnstile on defense. He tries hard, but it just is what it is.
Can't teach size. I think that's the biggest thing. And I think Brunson, if you're Brunson, you just have to be able to. You're so
take it on the chin and try hard. I mean, he tries really hard.
Yeah,
but
you try hard, yeah, but don't expend too much energy. I think. Like, that's the thing. Like, if the Spurs can just tire Brunson out, I mean, then you're really just relying basically on all the rest of the Knicks to continue that momentum. Yeah, it's definitely hard. I don't know what they're going to do. I think if I'm Mike Brown, you just make Brunson be as aggressive as possible at the jump. Like, don't let him get to the point where they start driving on you. Just try to attack them once they have the ball. Try to get the steal. Be aggressive. And if, you lose and they start driving, you just have to rely on your back end.
And that's the key, right? Play fast-paced transition offense. Don't let the Spurs get set. I mean, that's how I would do it.
All right. Couple of questions here for you guys. Who do you think is under the most pressure for these finals?
That's a good one. I mean, I feel like both teams are playing with a lot of house money. I'm going to say the Knicks franchise as whole, as this is the first time in 26 years that they've made it. It's kind of like the Cowboys if they made the finals, like none individual player, like the whole franchise just needs it, you know what I mean? So I'll go the Knicks.
I'm going to go with Timothée Chalamet.
Damn, that's a good one.
Yeah, MVP right now. But I think as far as players go, if I really had to nitpick on a particular guy, maybe it's Brunson, because there's this whole kind of like main discourse about can you win with can you win with a guy of Jalen Brunson's size if you're not Steph Curry or Isaiah Thomas, right? And Brunson's kind of now the next person to
Halliburton was like a little bit bigger in size, so is SGA. So like
6'5",
right. So I agree with you. If I had to pick a player, I'd pick.
Does matter.
Oh wow! I know.
Size matters.
Height does matter. Size does matter unless you're Steph Curry. And I mean, Steph Curry's not like super small for a guard.
He's got some size on him, is what you're saying?
I mean, yeah. Did you see the way he bulked up after 2020, 2021? I mean, that muscle actually helps.
He's got that girth.
I think that it does. And I mean, he also tries hard on defense as well. I mean, I'm not to say that Brunson doesn't try hard, but like, I think the point is that it's really, really hard for your best player on a championship team to be like, 6'1", 6'2", and I'm rooting for Brunson from that perspective. But I don't think that I think that people will have really strong opinions on like roster construction, like because if you can win a championship with Brunson kind of as like your alpha and best player, that might like open up more possibilities for GMs to like not be as averse to picking up guys like him and like the late lottery, early first. But I think that there's been this really big trend around like getting these unicorns and these really ultra twitchy like rangy wings, and that's kind of what the meta is converging on. So it would be cool to see if the Knicks are able to win with Brunson as their best player, and if Becky Hammond ultimately is right when she said that.
Okay. Who will be the most important role player of the finals? I think it's Landry Shamet.
Well, you guys really like Landry here, huh?
Dude, he's been amazing.
He's been really good, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything the Knicks I've done so far, I take it with a grain of salt because of the competition they're playing against, but that's just me. So I do discredit them a lot of the performances, unless they win the finals. Then I can give them.
Okay,
I'll go back and give them the credit. I'll go back and give them the credit, but until then, I can't.
Could always just claim
I'm
it's a
going to
hospital
go with
ring.
someone different. Why not go with Keldon Johnson? Is someone that we should really keep it.
Well, he needs to have a good series because
he
I don't
goes
know why
like 1
he's
of 5
6-9
every
right now.
game. Yeah, I don't know either, bro. He's like literally good for 1-3. That's it.
Yeah. They were about to lose the minutes he was with in that game 7. I was starting to get pissed off. And then he hit those 2 threes and I was like, okay, you're cool.
I'm going to say Mitchell Robinson. If he can hit some free throws, play some defense, especially on Wemby, keep, maybe Cat off when he's off the field or off the court and foul trouble. If Mitchell Robinson can play some big minutes with a broken pinky, that's going to be huge for them.
Who will be the biggest surprise of the finals? What do you think is like the most surprising storyline that will happen? Could be good, could be bad.
I guess I'd go for the bad. If Cat kind of reverts back, I feel like that'd be kind of surprising at this point, right? I feel like we've all kind of, I would say got accustomed to, but I feel like he's going to have a good series, and he's been playing really well. So it'd be kind of a surprise to see him revert back in the biggest moments.
I think for me it'll be OG. Like OG just like really steps up and has just an amazing series. Like he's playing healthy and he's so freaking good on both sides of the ball. And I think that the broader NBA world has definitely taken notice of that. And I really think that like he has what it takes to like make an impact. I mean, I think he is their best all around defender on the Knicks, in my opinion. And he's just so efficient on offense. And I think his defense on the guard is going to be really important. And he might, take turns playing defense on Wemby and making his life a little bit hard. So I think he's going to be a do-it-all guy that they're going to really rely on this whole series.
Cat's already been the biggest surprise to me just by how well he's playing. He's been on my slander list for a very long time. He's basically like, we did our Super Bowl preview and I was always slandering Sam Darnold back in the day. It's basically that. Cat's basically my Sam Darnold of basketball. So, I mean, if he can keep this up for 4 more wins, I guess he's off my slander list for a while. So, well, the final thing here. What's your final prediction?
Well, I'll go first here. I feel like I made my pick pretty obvious throughout the podcast here, as I've kind of continuously mentioned how I feel like the Spurs are a matchup problem waiting to happen for this New York big men, especially Karl Anthony Towns. I will go with the Spurs in 5, and we will have a Victor Wembanyama Finals MVP. He wants it. This is his full coming to age. Really, just I'm here. I'm that guy.
I'm gonna go with the Knicks in 6. I think that coming off of that brutal 7-game series, and the Knicks, kind of skating by pretty cleanly throughout the East will put them at a freshness advantage, and they do have the postseason experience advantage as well. And I think that Mike Brown definitely has the coaching edge over Mitch Johnson, and I think that will definitely play an impact as the series goes along, and adjustments need to be made. So I think that I'm gonna go with the Knicks. I think that Brunson's gonna be the MVP, and I'm pretty confident that it's going to be a very close series, and it's going to be a very competitive series. Like I can see
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I just feel like with this, I feel like this is my analogy will be cross sport here to the NFL. I feel like this was we just watched the Rams versus the Seahawks, and now we're gonna see the Seahawks go play the New England Patriots, and we saw how that went, and the Seahawks were just in another league. Even though like in this case, the game was way closer. The Knicks are good. I mean, the Patriots are a good team too. Like they weren't a bad team in any way.
But they struggled in all the playoff games,
Yeah, I mean, I think comparing this to the Patriots is a little discrediting to the Knicks.
The Knicks played a bunch of fucking JV teams, man. I don't know how else to look at. I don't want to discredit the Knicks in the sense like I don't think they're like there's not the same level as San Antonio and Oklahoma. That is the top two teams. They could be third, but it's just a different tier down. That's all I'm saying. And so that's going to be we're going to see that on display. And that's why I have it in 5.
Yeah, but the Patriots are pretty early on in a rebuild, and the Knicks have been around for a while, and they have established players. And yes, they all look extremely good playing against the Hawks and the Sixers and the Cavs especially. But I don't think that
the Cavs was the best team they played. Really think about that, bro.
I mean, yeah, you can only play who's in front of you, right?
But right. Well, I'm just saying that's why I feel like Spurs are gonna rout them.
Dude, those Knicks fans are gonna kill you if they ever find you. Dylan's gonna find you.
Well, they're gonna be 2-0 already going to New York. They're gonna be sad. They know it's gonna be happening.
Oh no. Well, let me say this first because I've been getting a little bit of reputation as a Knicks hater. I'm rooting for the Knicks in these finals. I want them to win because I do think that this might be their only shot, and I do love those rabid New York fans, as insane as they may be. But I think the Spurs are more battle-tested. I give a lot of credit to the fact that they beat the best team in the tournament, I think, so far, in Thunder, and that takes a lot of adjustments, that takes a lot of game planning, that takes a lot of playing at a level of competition where it's just winning basketball. It's championship basketball. And I could see that they did it. And they've proven that they've been able to take down a Titan like that and play that championship kind of basketball. That level of play, again, surmounts anything that the Knicks have done. I agree with that. I don't think that necessarily the Knicks are a pushover. I think they are going to be very competitive in this series, and I think they could surprise the Spurs. I think they will take one of game 1 or 2 in this series and take home court. But ultimately, I do think that the Spurs will win in 6 because I think they're the better team. That's just what I think. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to 7. It would be really cool if, as a neutral fan, if it went to 7. But I'm going to go with the Spurs in 6. Hard-fought series. Victor Wembanyama, MVP.
And I am rooting for the Knicks. They close them out in Madison Square Garden. That's going to be heartbreaking. You're talking about chaos? Victor Wembanyama's not going to be able to leave the building without an airplane.
Either way, the side talk content's gonna be pretty good. So,
dude, that was my person for who's under the most pressure. You gotta get some damn good footage. How are you gonna cut all that footage? Honestly, like
they got it, bro. They got it figured out, though, bro. Literally, they could just live stream for hours, and it'd just be the greatest thing that's happened.
Actually, I would also say Mamdani's under the most pressure because if you vote for Mamdani, he becomes the mayor, and the Knicks immediately win. I mean, I think he's getting voted until he gets termed out, honestly. You got to keep the good energy going.
Yeah. I mean, he was out in the nosebleeds, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't complain if Mamdani keeps on being the mayor, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, that is it for our NBA Finals preview coverage. As you can tell, we had a lot to discuss, and it was very entertaining. If this was OKC Knicks, we probably would have been here for only like 20 minutes, and most of it would have been complaining about OKC. But this should be a very good NBA Finals. We hope you tune into it, and obviously listen to more Sports Counsel. We are, again, on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts from. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all under the same handle, sports_counsel, and join our Discord. Discuss live with us for the NBA Finals. We might have a couple of, spaces, live streams, not teasing anything, not promising anything, but if you do want to discuss with us, we might be open to doing that discussion during the finals, do some post-game coverage. So definitely stick around, follow along, and listen to the podcast. But that is it.
Come buy a shirt if you're interested. Come hit up Matt. Let him know.
yes, again, best t-shirts in the world. I can say that because I've tried it.
Matt's gatekeeping mine, so I'm taking his word, but
yeah, by next episode, G will see the light. He ordered a shirt. Vivek ordered a shirt. They'll see the light. They understand.
yeah, greatest shirt ever.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the NBA Finals.
Fuck this Thunder.